Hello everyone, welcome to Campus Teachers Show. I'm your host, Stephen. My job is to interview teachers around the world and tease out their teaching tactics, education research, or tools they use. Hopefully this show can offer some ideas for you to experiment in your classroom. In this episode, we are gonna explore how we can integrate technology in classroom to cultivate life skills for special young adults. And we are really lucky to have Tarja Tolonen to join us today. Tarja is a Finnish special education lecturer at Savo Vocational College. She has extensive experience in early education, adult education, and special education. She's an Apple Distinguished Educator since 2015. As an Apple Distinguished Educator, she's a trusted advisor in integrating technology into learning environments and passionate about sharing her expertise in using technology to help engage students in new ways with other educators around the world. Without further ado, let's enjoy our conversation with Tarja. Welcome to the show, Tarja.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
So, Tarja, you have a broad range of experience in teaching students of all ages. Since we will focus on special education more today, I'm curious about what is the story behind that drove you to choose special education but not other traditional subject teaching?
I feel like I haven't particularly chosen this field. It came to me. I was first a kindergarten teacher, and then I got my master's degree and wanted to start to look teacher's position in vocational college. And in the beginning, I taught few years practical nurse students and immigrant students, and after that I went to special education. And in the special education, I felt that the work is very creative in that field, and situations change all the time, and you have to adjust your teaching. So that is motivating. And it's very creative, and I love the curriculum. So I felt it was important to learn everyday living skills like communication.
S- So, you mentioned it is creative. Can you give us like one or two example? Like, how does it differ from other traditional subject teaching?
Yeah, the curriculum is very creative in Telma education, that we can learn like everyday living skills, like problem solving in everyday problems. So then we can use a lot of technology and give the voice for the students. It's not in any books. We cannot find it from any books. We have to create the curriculum from the everyday life situations.
And when you just started to teach, what was the classroom you want to create? And is it changed throughout these years?
I think my outlook has changed a lot. In the beginning, I was more like teaching in the beginning of the in the front of the classroom, more teacher-led teaching, and I didn't appreciate the process of learning so much instead of the outcome. In a way, I was more certain of everything, or at least I tried to give that impression. And especially when I went to special education in the beginning, it was harder because in my classroom there is about only about 8 students, and then we have a lot of supporting staff. Estimate about 6 practical nurses or school assistants or other communication experts, and then me as a teacher. And in the beginning, I felt like I had to have all the answers how we should learn. So then it was hard work, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to try also international coordinators work for a change for 2 years. And then I came back to special education. And now when I started back in special education, we have had an amazing team. We work together for the same goal and discuss what we want to accomplish. We appreciate more about the project, the learning process. We make a lot of mistakes, but we learn from them and we have fun together. And especially this COVID time has made us to be more innovative together. I could not have done almost any of the things by myself, but together we can do those things.
Now you feel like you don't need to have own the answers. What is the moment that changed this kind of mindset?
Well, it's been going there like gradually, and but now when last March, when the COVID came kind of like stronger here, we had to think like how we are going to organize our teaching, and I couldn't be the only one responsible. We had to share responsibilities, and our nurses went to students' homes also to get the tasks for them and help them there. So everyone had to take like more responsibilities of the classroom. So I think that was one big change, that I couldn't carry all the responsibilities, so we had to change it.
Got it. So basically, the pandemic makes you feel like there's other ways of teaching and that is not being taught before, so you have to explore again.
Yes, yes. That was a good take on
And
this.
yeah. So before diving into technology integration, I would love to learn about Tarja, your work in Savo Vocational College, if I pronounce it that
Yeah.
right. Is that called Savo? Yeah.
Yes.
And there's a Telma training work and independent living. Would you mind giving us an overview of what Telma education look like?
Yes, in Telma education, our students have like individual learning plans, and still now the studying time can vary from 1 to 3 years depending of the needs of the student, and it's training for supported work or daytime activity and independent living. And it's intended for the students with special needs who do not have the opportunity to transfer to degree orientated education because of their illness or injury. And it is really important that teaching is planning according to the students' personal goals and abilities. And we are learning skills like learning to learn, communication, interaction, uh, also maths and computer skills, working ability skills, acting in society, and self-knowledge skills, social skills. I love this, learning the social skills and communication. Those are my favorites. Free time skills and motor, like sports and health knowledge, art. Yes, lots of different kind of skills we learn there.
Yeah, and you say that basically it would tailor for the students given their interest. So how does that being evaluated? Do you like ask students when they starting the schooling, or it just kind of explore over the time?
Uh, it's it's the students' interests, but it's also the students' needs. So if we notice that the students needs strengthen the communication skills. For example, they have a speech problem, or and they still are not having any communication aid for them, then we concentrate more on those kind of skills, like how they can impress themselves better. And there is always a team with the parents and the student and us from the school, and then there might be also some healthcare workers together when we are planning to the individual plan and what we are doing next. So the goal for Telma students is to find individual pathways for them for living and for some supported work or daytime activities in the end of those studies. But now the law is actually changing, so every student in Finland will have compulsory education till they are 18 years old. So then it's for everyone those 3 years almost.
Got it. So there are some basic skill set for living that the students should meet, and then further that there will be some more career oriented skills specifically that they can learn given their interests.
Yes, yes, yes. And the skills, a lot of, because our students are quite often quite severely disabled students, like some of them are physically, but all of them have some like mental disabilities as well. So not all kinds of works are possible for them, even they would be interested. So then we also have to find the paths what are possible for them.
So, Tarja, we know that you are a technology integration advocator. So, what is one technology you use the most in your classroom, especially for communication that you just mentioned?
Mm. Uh, well, we use iPads daily in our classroom, so since 2011, and every student has their own iPad, and so every day our students need a structure for their day. So every morning we are doing our daily timetable uh, with my own interactions app, where you can add pictures or videos of the day, and students are also daily telling, with the help of their iPad, what they've done in the evening before or during the weekend, what they are planning to do on the next day, and they will project it to everyone. So that is adds more cooperation between the students as well. And then many of the students use GoTalk Now app for communication aid, but also like very helpful in the classroom, we use Book Creator app for for our students. They do my wellness plans, the plans where they uh, tell there that where they need help and what they enjoy in their life. And I like going watching football, or I like listening to music, but I hate this food and things like that. And with green screen and iMovie or clips, we do a lot of creative telling videos. And then there is, of course, the VR possibilities where we can explore and visit the places where we couldn't go otherwise.
And the in Tarja, you say that every day that they will kind of journaling what they have done today. Is there any particular app on the iPad that they use?
Yes, there is this Moi app, my own interactions application, what they use for that. And they use it also at home. So they, with some of them do it by themselves, or some of them do it with the help of their parents to add the pictures also from the evening there, so we can share the experience. They parents can see at home what they have done, and we can see at the college what they have done at home. So it's nice also for that cooperation between home and school.
Mhm. And how did you find that this app or the other app you mentioned, Book Creator app, help them in communication? Like, how does he help them to communicate more clearly?
Like the My Own Interactions app, where we do the timetable, it's really important for them to, our students, many of them have a structure of the day, and it helps them to talk and tell what they have done. And also the Go Talk Now app, there is different kind of buttons where what we add there, and they can talk from the pictures, with the help of pictures, because sometimes their speech is very unclear, or there's no speech at all, or our student cannot read, they can understand only the pictures. So then it makes for them easier to say things that what they want to say.
I see. So there are like the time that they can put into their sentence or a structure that they can use
Mm.
in the apps and the pictures to support them to um, describe their feelings or some subjects.
Yeah, both, or anything. They can go to restaurant and push from there that I would like to order pizza. Pizza should have a ham and pineapple. So they can choose the pictures from the app, basically. And there is one student who has a who cannot see, has a vision problem, but he can hear, she can hear very well, but she cannot, um, her speech is very quiet, and it's not very clear either. So she has the audio, not the pictures, but it's the audio blocks kind of. So she can choose from the audio things what she wants to say.
There's another app that you mentioned, which is called Book Creator. Would you mind sharing a example in one of your students' work that how do they use this Book Creator app to create a book or story?
Yes, with the book creator, we do lots of different things. Sometimes I have a kind of like a half-made book for the whole class, for example. It could be about me, and then I put some pictures there, and they add a little bit more there in the same book. So they kind of make it individual. There is que- there could be any kind of questions. For example, about the hobbies. What hobbies do you like? And they can cross the hobbies. They like use the book as an electric workbook. Or then they can also do, we can also do a shopping list in the book creator. We get the pictures from the internet for some recipe, use it in a shop, where to find ingredients what we need. This is again the help, uh, because they cannot read, we can add the picture and the voice. Or the students can have a cooking book there, and then in after every cooking recipe they can add their own pictures how they have done that food, for example.
So in this Book Creator app, you can add like text, pictures, and audio. Is that right?
Yes, and also video and links. And then there is also, if you want to draw something, there is kind of like auto draw. So if you make a circle, and then you can choose from there, is it an apple or orange or sun, or what is it? So you can feel like you are a really good drawer, even though you could not draw really much.
Yeah. So basically, you can like draw a kind of a shape, and it will like pop up a window to
Yes,
recommend maybe this is the objects that you want to draw, and then you can click
yes,
up, and it will show up. Yeah.
yes,
Got
yes,
it.
that's right.
And
Mm.
there's a really interesting Facebook video post from you that you try to use filter for people with speech disability. Since I didn't like know the whole picture from that video, would you mind sharing a bit what you were trying to do with that technology?
Yes, I wanted to raise awareness about speech disabilities, and it was Spark AR app, and I wanted just to try how this works, basically, because a friend of mine who has a firm for sign language interpreters, and she was actually asking me if I could try to do something with this app, and because I like to try everything when it comes to technology, I couldn't resist to do that. So it was fun thing to learn, but basically you can do all kinds of filters uh, there, and it was fun experiment. But yeah, but basically it was to raise awareness about speech disabilities.
So what were you doing is that you would film a video, and what are the filters that you use in that video?
I was just that if I open my mouth and there comes some very blurry text. So I try to show everyone how it feels like when you don't understand.
In this kind of pandemic situation, we need the technology more given the distance learning world. So I bet it might be even difficult for special young adults. So if a teacher comes to you and asks for advice to keep their learning continue, what would you give for virtual learning environment?
I like Shopee a lot because it's very easy to learn, and we can also have the video calls in it. And in Shopee we can share those books what we have created with Book Creator, and they can add their own markings in the books or in there, and we can give individual tasks there and ask them to send us a picture or video what they have done, and give comments very easily. And the comments can be voice, picture, video, text. So it's very, we can use it in a way what is suitable for our student.
So I'm curious, like, is it in Finland? Do you guys are still in distant learning, or now it's you can do the physical one, physical one?
Yeah, the autumn time we have been able to do the physical learning here in Kuopio. We are in middle of Finland, but I guess in the southern Finland, many colleges and schools are not open for physical learning. But here in my college, we've been able to be there at school.
And did you find difficult to engage students in the video calls, or you have any tips to keep them concentrate?
Uh, our teaching wasn't, it was like short videos. It wasn't, uh, we we cannot um, like the teaching is very different. So we had individual tasks for everyone, like planned for each of them especially, and we did send them either by Shopee or some, for some students our staff went to, and did bring it to them, and and where some of the students, they were even helping the whole day at home when everything was closed. But it was really different for every student, so it depended. But we couldn't do everything what we have been able to do now when we are at the school.
Mhm. So there are like specific like tags for each individual, and the parents will help out to complete the tags so that they still can keep the learning going.
Mm, mm.
Mhm.
Yes, yes, they were doing. The parents were very helpful, and also because we have so many nurses in our class, so we could send quite many of them to the students' homes as well.
Mhm. So are the one how like what's the proportion of like nurses is versus students? Are like 10 nurses for 10 students, or what's the proportion there?
We have, like at the moment, we have 8 students and 6 nurses in my classroom, and then one teacher, so 7 to 8.
And last section would be some random and big questions. So, Tarja, is there any 1 to 2 books that influence a lot your thinking or value system in these past few years?
Well, most of the book I read is just for relaxation or for learning new technological skill or idea what I do. But when I was a student, I was really impressed about Vygotsky's ideas about constructivism. Books I'm reading right now, just for fun, are Yuval Noah Harari's Homo Deus and Sapiens. But I mostly like to study new things about from the internet, and many of the things what we do in our class don't have so much research yet. So I'm really lucky to be a part of the Apple Distinguished Educator community and the MIE expert community. And in those groups, we share lots of ideas about teaching.
And to you personally, what does education mean to you?
I feel it never ends. We learn together with our students, and I try to learn new things all the time. And most of my personal learning happens in the internet. I find too many things there. And lately, I've been really keen to learn, like, to create virtual worlds for the students with special needs. And I've been trying to, well, I created some in ThingLink, but now I want to try also create some worlds in Altspace. So I try to learn some Unity software so I could create the worlds by myself from the beginning. But there is reason for this because we are going to build a new building for our Telma education in next August, and I wish we can get there one room where we can have like immersive cave technology, so we don't always have to create the objects from the physical objects, but we can have some objects also projected to the walls. It would be so much easier than now when we have to change the classroom totally if we want it to be a bar or or circus or whatever.
Wonderful. And before we close up, Tarja, do you have any other thoughts you want to share with our listeners?
Just I think like more positive learning experiences for everyone. And when people believe they have possibilities to accomplish something, they try more and they get more interested. So I would rather focus more on the process, less to outcome. So process is very important, I feel.
If people want to learn more about your work, how can they find you online?
Twitter at Tarjato is my Twitter, or I can be found from the Facebook as well and LinkedIn.
All right. Thank you, Tarja, for joining me today. I believe lots of our listeners can learn a lot from our conversation today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Tiffen. It was great.
Thank you for listening. We will put the things mentioned in the interview to the show notes. If you enjoy our show, welcome to share and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.